Now, in the meantime, we've had some tough choices to make. In the previous time that I served under the previous Premier, we've had a growing economy to deal with the pressures. 2008 was a different year, and 2009 was extremely difficult. And that was the first time that we had to go back and start trimming budgets to make sure that we maintained our priorities, but we did have to find efficiencies in our budgets. We were not immune from the global situation, and I can tell you that just coming back, visiting in California, many of the states have great difficulty in their economy. California, Michigan, obviously, New York, and others. And the United States still continue to be our #1 market for our products. And that's why we have to work diligently to expand our market choice, and that will be offshore, and most of that will be in China and India. And in fact, today I think it just announced that they're the third trading partner for Alberta. The one thing I want to, again, accent is that we are not tapping into the Alberta Heritage Savings Trust Fund. As you travel through Alberta and you talk to people and say, well, you know, you're tapping into that fund that is set aside for a rainy day. Well, it's there for your grandchildren. And that fund is mostly invested in infrastructure and other things, most of it outside of Alberta. That's a fund that will continue to grow, and we'll look at new strategies in terms of keep building that fund. So we build it larger and again protect it from inflation, but also to ensure that it's there for future generations when we run out of oil and gas. With respect to infrastructure, the Sustainability Fund allows us to keep investing in infrastructure. We are investing in infrastructure at a rate pretty close to double of any other province on a per capita basis. And the reason being is that we are getting some unbelievable low prices on not only on labor and materials. The tenders are coming in many as low as 42% off the projected cost. So you will see continued investment in education facilities, health facilities, and in fact, from here, just heading over to the Lois Hole hospital opening at 1:30, and we will continue to do that because now is the time to do it. For every billion that's invested in infrastructure, it's about 9,700 jobs, and the people would be working and building the infrastructure that we will need in the future as our population keeps increasing. We would then be competing with the private sector, and we just did that. We just learned that hard lesson in 2007. When we were competing with the private sector, and we saw huge, dramatic increases in our infrastructure costs, and in fact, in some cases, it was even hard to get a reply on a tender call because everybody was so busy. So now's the time to catch up with the infrastructure, and we will keep building while the prices are low, and it'll be spread across the province of Alberta. There will be a recent announcement here coming forward on seniors accommodation. We need about 1,200 housing spaces for seniors in continuing care over the next number of years because our population is increasing dramatically with respect to the senior percentage, and it will have a huge dramatic effect on our budgets. Now, the one thing that we will not budge from and we remain committed to is that we will be in the black in 3. So going into 2012-13, our budget will be balanced, and we will be replenishing the Sustainability Fund. Because no one really knows what the future will bring in terms of some of our natural resource commodity prices, but it's always good to have money in the bank, as I said before, cash service. Why? And just to go back, when we had oil going $147 a barrel, and all these projections of huge revenues to the province. There were some economists that said you shouldn't have more than 10% of your budget, which would have been about $4 billion, in a sustainability fund, and the rest should go into the Heritage Savings Trust Fund. Well, if we would have done that, we wouldn't have had enough to cover the first year's deficit. And the reason we put all that money into Sustainability Fund, it was at the time where there was a period of uncertainty in the federal government where one of our political leaders was talking about a carbon tax. And as one that lived through the 80s, I knew what some of these issues and how they may impact Alberta. And as a result, we put additional money in the Sustainability Fund, not knowing what would have been the outcome coming out of the federal election. So far, of course, we've had a very good working relationship with Prime Minister Harper and Jim Prentice, and we worked through a number of the issues with respect to carbon and some of the other tax issues.